Hello?
Hello, is this Ethan?
Yeah, is this Dustin?
This is Dustin. How you doing today?
Hey, good, man. How are you?
I'm excellent. It's great to be speaking with you.
Thanks, man. Likewise.
Well, I want to ask you about the show you guys got coming up. Dengue Fever is going to be at the Cedar in Minneapolis coming up on April 10th, and you guys are playing with another band. Can you tell us a bit about the other band and I guess the tour that you guys are going to be on?
Yeah, the other band is called Tenarowin, and they're out of, Mali in Africa, and they're one of the best, they're one of our favorite bands. They're, really interesting music. I mean, they're kind of they've been on the cover of Mojo magazine. They're just, they're like riding camels with electric guitars. They're very nomadic, and their music is, it's just powerful. So I've heard great things about their show. So we're doing a tour with them that starts in San Diego, California, and works its way all the way up the West Coast. And then we go into Canada, and then we come back into the USA, and just one state pretty much at a time. Well, not every state, but we slowly crawl all the way across the country, then go back up into Canada, and then down, hit the East Coast, and come through the South and back to Los Angeles where we started. So it's over a month-long tour.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great that you guys are able to hit up all these different states and heading up into Canada. I know you guys have a great fan base here in Minnesota. You guys are always having Minnesota dates. So are you seeing a lot of new people, in the crowds when you guys come back around here?
Let's see. The last time we played in Minnesota, what was, do you remember were you at the show?
Yeah, it was a part of an arts or cultural festival, I think.
Oh, it was a cultural festival. Okay. Yeah, it's been, there's new fans at every show. It's like, there's always a couple new fans. And then, this tour is interesting because we haven't opened for anybody for a long time. We've always headlined, we've always been the main act for the night. And this one we're opening for Tenarowin because, we got a new booking agent, and we asked them, we really wanted to tour with Tenarowin, and we asked them, and they said, yeah. And so they hooked it up. So it's going to be an interesting mix. I'm hoping that our fans will, get turned on to them, and their fans will we can get some new fans as well. Playing larger venues, a lot of them are larger, in Los Angeles. It's the Henry Fonda Theater, which I've never played, but I know it's larger than what we normally play and capacity. And then I know that Portland, Oregon already sold out, so they asked if we wanted to do a second show because we had the next day off. So we did that. So it's looking good. It's looking good so far.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I know you guys have played at the Cedar here in Minneapolis before as well. And I got to ask you, are you guys going to be doing maybe some new material on this tour? Are you guys working on some new stuff?
Yeah, we've been working on, I don't know if we're going to, I'm not sure what's new. We definitely, we're playing, our set is like a mix of all of our songs throughout our career. So there's a mix of songs, but brand new as in not released, no, we're not going to be doing that yet, but we are working on new material where we've been, we went out to Joshua Tree, the desert here, and we just went to this house and brought our recording equipment, and we set up for 4 nights. We're out there, and we were in the middle, deep desert, so there's nobody, and I maybe saw 1 or 2 cars in the 4 days that we were there. And it was just, so we would wake up with the sunrise and just go and just start working on tracks, new tracks, just basically trying to come up with a bunch of new ideas and lay them down and then develop them on when we get back home. So that's what, we do have new material. We've probably got, and we've also, we've been recording a lot lately, but I think on this tour. I mean, I think we'll play. I'm trying to think if we play anything off of our last record, which is The Deepest Lake, but I'm not sure. So every night could be a little different as far as songs go.
Awesome. Well, as far as new stuff goes, I got to ask you about your first couple albums. I know you're reissuing those with some new tracks. Can you tell us a bit about that, and I guess what we can expect to see on those old ones? I know they were out of print for some time.
Yeah. So we started our own record label a couple of years ago called Tuk Tuk Records, and we put out our last record, The Deepest Lake, on it, and that's like so that's on Tuk Tuk, and then we were just like kind of building up capital as now a label owners. So now we were able to put out our first record because we own it, and our second record. So the first one is just our self-titled one, Dengue Fever. The second one is Escape from Dragon House. So we got those out, coming out on CD. Hopefully we'll get the press vinyl on it. It's just it's just one step at a time, but we're excited. It's fun to do that, and there's some extra tracks on it, like some live songs at some shows around LA, I think, and some other places. I'm not looking at the material right now, but yeah, so they're gonna be like, the first record hasn't been available for quite some time. We've been out of it, so it'll be good for some fans, that come out to all our shows, and they're like, oh, I haven't had, they get a chance to get it, so that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. And it sounds like your label, the Tuk Tuk Records, is going well. I mean, you guys are allowed to kind of slowly release stuff on your own time and have control of everything.
Yeah, we definitely. Yeah, it's nice to have the control, and I mean, we're open to. It's not like it's the end all of labels. Like, it's not. We're open to working with other labels in the future if we need to. But this has been good. It's just been a good avenue for us to like, for our back catalog and for our last record, we were able to have our own label and do it right. Because a couple times it's been kind of, sometimes you have a label, and like we got on a bigger label for a second 2 records ago, and it was like they just will put stuff, like they'll send stuff out to your email list, and they wouldn't approve it, and it would just say the wording, you'd just be like, oh man, it would just be not a good representation of what the band is or what we'd want to say to our fans or anything. It was just like, just totally whack, and we're like, oh, so like, please don't do this. They kept doing that, and we asked if we could go, so we were let go, and then we're just like, well, now we were talking to some other labels, some independent labels, and we're just like, oh, why don't we just start our own label and go that route, see how it goes. So we've got a good little team, and it's working for now. It's pretty cool. It's a lot, though, with having to, create the deadline, do the art, all the artwork, and all the, we have to do like the liner notes. I mean, everything. It's just a lot of responsibility when it comes time to putting out anything, like even the back catalogs. It's like, it's not as simple as just like, oh yeah, let's just scan it in and do it. It's like everything, because it's been a long time, I guess. So, but we've got a couple people that really work hard and help us out, so that's great.
Yeah, it's definitely a different landscape nowadays as far as releasing music. It's not live and die by the major labels. It's great that you guys are able to, be in control of that stuff and do, what you want as far as representation. As you mentioned, nobody cares as much about your band as you do. So it's great that you're able to do that.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, I know you guys released a compilation a while back too with, older Cambodian music. I wanted to ask you about that. Are you guys able to still, I guess, discover original stuff that you haven't heard before, or has it pretty much all been unearthed at this point?
I think that there's still some stuff that you could discover if you listen, because there are a lot of songs that were recorded in that, in Cambodia in the 60s. Yeah, I think you're talking about Electric Cambodia. That was a compilation that we put out. Of like some of our old, more obscure songs that we really liked. And but like you could still find some songs, but I mean there's been a lot of compilations that focus on 1967 to 1970, whenever it stopped. There's been several compilations on Khmer rock, so the Cambodian psychedelic era. So there are already like kind of like the best of, definitely, and then there's the best of that are like a little more obscure. I think that's kind of what Electric Cambodia is. And then if what you're asking, like, there's still good songs out there. Like, if we wanted to, we've been asked before to compile another Electric Cambodia #2, but we didn't want to. We just were like, we just wanted to leave it as is, because it was like, I compiled the first one, and then the second one, I was like, okay, I have all these other tracks that didn't make it on Electric Cambodia #1, and I was like listening to them. So then from those like 12 tracks, I maybe pulled out 3 that I thought were strong enough. So it was like that kind of thing. Like, you could really, if you wanted to, you could find, you could dig and find more always. There's thousands upon thousands of songs, so I haven't heard all of it by any means, but I've heard lots of Sin Sisamuth. He's like the main songwriter. He passed away or was killed, but he alone wrote thousands of songs. So just to hear his catalog that would take a long time. I think a lot of his songs are slow love songs, so those ones don't really interest me as much as the ones where it's like psychedelic surf kind of vibe.
Sure. Well, yeah, it does seem like you guys, Dengue Fever is really almost like the gateway to that style of music here in the States, kind of like the ambassadors in a way to everyone else who might not have access to it.
That's nice. That's cool. I guess it's like when we play, because no one else is really doing it in the States the way that we are. So it's usually if people start to research our band, then they kind of start to find some of the artists, that recorded in the late 60s over in Cambodia, and sometimes they get turned on to it. Sometimes they become obsessed with it, kind of like I have. It's like, yeah, we get some people, we get this one fan who comes, he comes to like pretty much, he doesn't come to every show, but he comes to enough shows where like we're playing in, where was it? We were playing in, he lives in Bakersfield, California, right? It's like a couple hours outside of LA. And we were playing in this wine country out in Northern California, and he was there, and he was just like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh, hey, how'd you get here? He's like, yeah, I just drove up this morning. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we're like in Cambodia playing, and then he's in the crowd. He's like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's just like, hey, I'll never miss this. I was just like, oh, okay. He's like, awesome. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna. Yeah, he was like all bummed. He was like, I can't believe you guys are opening for another band, man. You guys should be headliners. It's like, oh man, come on, no, this. Yeah, like, he's just a little bit obsessed. But he's a really nice guy. He's a good person to have. He makes his friends go to our shows. Like, if they're within an hour, he'll like call them and be like, you have to go, and like make it a point. So those are the kind of people you want.
Awesome.
It helps when you're a smaller band. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're trying to do that here as well. I mean, we've talked to you before in the past, and your brother. We've had Cenan on and Amal, and we're always willing to help you guys out. Again, your show coming up at the Cedar in Minneapolis on April 10th, and it's going to be great to see you again. I really appreciate you being on with me today, Ethan.
Sure. Thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you out there sometime soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot, man.
Okay. Take it easy. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.